My grandfather, he created the formula for Boroline.
What do you say?
Rituparno was the one who wrote the line Bongo Jibone Rom, which is one of their most famous lines. If you walk down any street in the city, you'll find something we've created.
There's a story how Response came about making Isabgol. Advertising is usually seen as a business. But in Calcutta, advertising is memory. Because the right campaigns don't just sell, they stay. They become nostalgia. My guest today is Rashi Ray, owner, director of Response India, one of Calcutta's most respected advertising agencies. Founded in 1984 by Mr. Ram Ray. Today, Rashi is carrying forward that legacy while rebuilding it for a new era and pushing through the edge of modern creativity through her experimental first venture, Zero Budget Agency. Welcome to Host Diaries, Rashi. Thank you so much, Rashi, for being on our show, Host Diaries. It's an absolute honor to have you as our guest today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I do something called the Calcutta test.
Okay.
All right. And we're going to start off with that.
Okay.
If I give you 30 seconds to explain what Response is to anyone who has never heard of it or ever been to Calcutta, what would you say?
We are a 41-year-old young agency. We have worked with almost all Calcutta brands. We do communications. You've given me 30 seconds, so I'm done.
So the rest of it you have to pay for to know. You grew up with an agency office above your home where your father started it.
Yeah.
What do you remember, or what was the first moment you realized that this is not just my father's work, this is a world that I've been thrown into?
So, when you grow up in a situation like that where your office is right above your home, which is very rare in today's context, you don't really realize that that is office and this is home. So the whole thing becomes one, right? So, and in advertising, work happens all the time. It's pretty much open 24/7. Not for people to know, but that's how we function. So I didn't really know that that was office and this is home and this is where creatives happen and this is where it doesn't, because a lot of the work came home also. I don't really have a first moment, but it's just a way of life for us.
Host Diaries is obviously about heritage. Do you see advertising as a part of the city's heritage too? Like signages, jingles, taglines, any iconic campaigns? How has advertising blended into Calcutta's cultural narrative?
Let's take it one by one. Let's look at what Calcutta's culture is like. Calcutta is slow, in a good way, romantic, extremely educated, deeply cultured. So people here are very complex. Okay, there are multiple meanings to everything. And one of the things that we have been able to crack over the years is we actually get the city and we understand how that should play into communication, so that the communications we create, whether it's ads or signages or logos or invitations, it actually speaks to the people. I think that's what has led us to be able to create for people for so many years. Going back to what you were saying, if you walk down any street in the city, you'll find something we've created.
That's amazing.
We've done we've launched over 150 real estate projects.
Oh, wow.
Which are pretty much across the city, given by us, logos done by us. We've done a lot of logos in general of old businesses here, which are all over the city. A lot of street signs. So there's a little bit of response in every part of the city.
That's amazing. So Calcutta, as you said, has its own sound. It has its own pace. It's romanticized in many narratives. Branding in Calcutta is very different from branding in other metros in India, such as Bombay and Delhi. How does a brand change the way they speak when they want to address Calcutta?
So if you look at Calcutta, people read into things beyond what is there. Right? So there's always a second meaning and a third meaning, and there's a lot of opinions, and people take everything to heart. It's very personal. Other cities like Delhi or Bombay are far more transactional. So things have to be quick, on the face, ready to go. What we've always believed in is that we have to really connect with the consumer and we have to continue connecting. We're not looking to sell. We're looking to really hit that emotional note, so that people begin to feel like this brand is part of me. We never say buy this.
Yeah. Buy this doesn't work in this city.
No. I guess it does. Other people believe differently, but we've rarely run campaigns which have a sales pitch.
In the past, you've said that some of your campaigns became Bengali nostalgia. How do you make something nostalgic without making it too cheesy? And if you could break down the idea of Bengali nostalgia, what does that mean?
Currently, we don't do very nostalgic campaigns. But in the past, we did. I wouldn't say that we always do Bengali nostalgic campaigns. We always do campaigns that are relevant to the time. So a lot of the campaigns that you see that we are known for are older campaigns because they're more famous. Because that in earlier days you would see a campaign for a long period of time, right? An ad would run for a year, 2 years, 3 years. A brand was built over a long period of time. Now things are quick. If you go back to older campaigns like we did for Boroline or we did for Dabur, they have become part of people's lives. I'll tell you the Boroline story. My grandfather was a chemical engineer. Then he had a pharmacy, a chain of pharmacies, very successful. He created the formula for Boroline.
What are you saying?
Yeah. And he gave it to them. So he was like, আমি এটা বানাবো না, তুমি নিয়ে কিছু একটা বানাও.
What a
So,
cool story.
Boroline is a part of every Bengali household. We had that account in 85. It was Response's first account, first big account. And at the time we took that account, before that, advertising for Boroline used to be done in English. And we realized, my father, that's the time he opened Response and Boroline came on board. I'll actually tell you the story of why they came on board also. He realized that this has to go into every Bengali household. And English ads are not really going to work, or English thought translated into Bengali ads are not really going to work. We decided that this has to feel cultural. This has to feel like it's yours. That's the time when he met Rituparno. He was what you could say is a novice. He was entering into the world of creative. I don't even know whether to call it world of advertising, because advertising was such a big world of doing so many kinds of creative things. So he came in, he was very keen to join Response, and this is of course told to me. I was not born. He hired him very quickly because he liked him. Okay, he had no previous writing experience or copywriting experience, and he hired him because he wanted someone like him to create for Boroline, because he felt he would understand the ethos of the brand. And then, of course, we built the brand. Before that, it was a business. After that, it became a brand that actually became a household name. So he was the one who wrote the line "Bongo Jibone Rong," which is one of their most famous lines.
Ones.
He did a lot of their Pujo campaigns. People would actually wait to see what the next year's campaign is going to be.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a story how Response came about making Isabgol. I would love to get to know a little bit more about that.
Other than advertising, we do a lot of things. Sometimes we conceive products. Isabgol is a product that was kind of thought of at Response. At the time, people would have husk, and they would have husk because, for better digestion. The concept of having it branded didn't really exist. So what we did is we took the product, we thought of it making it triple refined. So it becomes, grounded to the dust, packaged it, created a story with this little figure called the potty man. So if you see one of all their older ads, there was this potty man and he was talking about how easy, pleasurable his digestion was. Right? So we created that story, we created that packaging, and we took it to other companies as well. But Dabur bought it, and they bought into the concept, they bought into the packaging, and then they gave us the account to do the advertising for it. That's how it came into all of our lives.
How lovely is that?
There's Chauvelist then.
Yeah, Shaw Wallace is one of the
then,
largest alcohol companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was then, I guess they had other businesses because we did a soap for them.
Okay.
We conceived a soap. Soap bars then used to be like bricks earlier, right? So we thought of an idea, why not create a soap for men? And we sort of changed the form a bit, added a different smell, musk, and we called it Aramusk. And then that's how that product was born. I think we did a 3-month campaign. It's still a running product.
Wow. You spoke that you have done the communication, the logo, the branding.
Let's say the advertising. It's very difficult to define. But
yeah, it's difficult to define. So a lot of these projects were from the Bengal Ambuja group.
So Bengal Ambuja was our first real estate client, because at that time real estate didn't have really there weren't any brands. If you think back 30, that was 31 years ago, I think. That's when we did their work. You didn't really hear of real estate brands. You heard of promoters. And they were then, before we started working with them, they were also promoters. But once we did, and we've of course had a long journey. In fact, Mr. Neotia, and on many occasions, has also been very appreciative of responses and my father's contribution to his brand. He actually helped shape up the business into a brand. So from Bengal Ambuja to Ambuja Neotia. And then, of course, some of their key real estate projects, including their naming logos. If you notice all of the logos, they have this green sort of rectangle with a name with a U. I think we did the first few sets of those as well. But most of the projects have been for other bidders going forward.
All right. I wanted to delve a little bit into your leadership style.
Okay.
Right?
That's difficult.
Yeah, you've inherited this company from your father. What did good advertising mean then? And what does good advertising mean now?
See, to us, advertising has always been about understanding people and in current times, right? And times have really changed. We've always known how to connect with people at the time that it is required to. Consumer connect has always been our philosophy. Then and now, we always believed that world-class advertising could be done in Calcutta, and we've stuck to it. We've always been ahead. One of the things we try to do as a company is stay agile and always think of what the next form of communication is, and we adopt it first. We continue to do that. Advertising has also always been defined by media, where you can actually see the ads.
Yeah.
There used to be physical spaces like wall paintings or hoardings, radio, television, from Doordarshan to television channels. Now there's so much social media. Media now is very, very diverse and vast.
Yeah.
And we've always believed in the same thing. It's always been words and pictures, and I would say it's words and pictures and sound that actually create ads.
Is there something or some philosophy that you hold sacred in your organization which you won't ever change even though the media landscape is changing?
We believe in a couple of things. One, clarity. You should be very clear as to why you're creating that ad or creating that logo. That actually tells you everything. If you're clear that this logo needs to emit this signal, or people should understand this, or the ad should convey this, you'll be able to create it in whichever form. Whether it is a podcast, or whether it is a 30-second television spot, or a long copy ad, or one line, if you know what you want to say, you'll be able to create it. So that's one. Two is we try and keep our standards of work as high as possible. So it should be equivalent to anywhere in the world. That's something we try to maintain. It's hard. Given today, there's a lot of, I would say, resource drain in the city. Unfortunately, a lot of good talent is moved out. But yeah, we've been sticking to it.
So clarity is the highest level of importance.
Yeah.
Clarity as to what is it that you want to communicate out.
Yeah.
Now, how you
that's
do
a
it,
long journey, right? Because
yeah,
you're creating an ad. You can be clear, but the advertiser also has to be clear. And getting the advertiser to be clear we feel it's part of our journey.
Correct. And it's something where most brands fail. I too am from this industry, and I also feel the same thing, that most of the times the owner themselves are not clear as to what is it that they want to communicate.
Yeah, but a little bit of trust and willingness to push, to think about it, I think goes a really long way. Yeah. Because once you're clear and the ads start working, then
it does.
You begin to trust the process.
You've created a Bengali font. It's called Ananda.
Wow, you really know a lot.
To make especially the Bengali typesetting look very, very beautiful. According to you, why is typography such a cultural decision and not just a design choice?
When we started, communication would not be created the way it is created in Bengal today. We had to create everything. We had to create all the elements as well. Typography plays a big role in graphic design, because you're actually seeing, you're reading and you're seeing. You're seeing a picture and you're reading words. Both form the design, right?
Yeah.
So if you're reading the words in an ugly font, or a font that's not actually communicating what you want it to, it won't work. So we've not only created Anando, we've created several others. We haven't made them into fonts. So we have the letters.
Yeah.
We hand set them. We still hand set them digitally, because we don't need it for long text. We need it, for very specialized pieces of writing. But that really makes the communication look different and feel different.
Do you have any few ads that you've used this font on?
We use it a lot. It's so Anando is like, it's clean. It's like Helvetica.
And have other agencies tried to use the font as well?
They can't. We have it. We don't have the full. We won't give it out. So if you want us to do it, we will do it and we will give it to you, but we will not give you the font.
Understood.
We've still been able to keep it.
Yeah, but even though
Secret sauce,
it becomes so easy to copy fonts.
Very hard to copy Bengali because of the complication of the letter form. You have to understand it. You have to understand typography. Typography is a very complicated subject. It's taught in Yale under architecture.
Oh, wow.
You have to actually understand proportions, sizes, scale, usage. The height of one letter has a direct proportion with another letter.
That's true.
And it's not all linear.
Yeah.
So even if you try to copy it, you have to school yourself first.
Wow. So it's a good, company moat that you have.
There are so many agencies now.
A dime a dozen, and especially in India and in Calcutta also as well.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you a little bit about Response 2.0 because I think that's a baby of yours that you have formed after taking over. You launched it and brought in a senior talent to run Response 2.0.
Yeah.
Why was it needed?
It wasn't. We still call it Response.
Okay.
Of course, I had a journey with Response as well, right? Because when I started running it, I was very young. It was a bit sudden. Before that, I ran another company called Zero, which is also an agency, also did very well. I still run it, had a completely different set of clients and a completely different philosophy. So I began to run it, because I needed to. For me, it was always there. It's like I would say the shelter. When I did, I realized when you take over a company that you did not start, you have a lot of challenges, right? Because a lot of the people in the company are not so receptive to you. So a lot of changes were required internally, which we went through. Maybe the first format of 2.0 was not the right step. But subsequently, we realized that we needed younger talent. So actually, we have a very agile and young team now.
That's lovely.
Yeah. I think every 20 years or 25 years, it requires a complete restructure or a rebrand. It was due.
Understood. There are many companies in Calcutta, especially which are several years old. Probably the older ones are from Calcutta only in the larger Indian narrative. How does an old respected company truly become or reinvent themselves so that they are aligning with the modern Indian thought? Some people believe it's just the new logo. Some people believe you put a new deck. Some people believe you put a few posts on social media. But according to Response, what is the hardest part of reinventing an old company?
The older the company, more people are involved, right? Especially family businesses.
Yeah.
And there are multiple people who have multiple opinions and different visions. So I think the hardest part is aligning them, not the logo or the design or anything, but just actually being able to align people to one vision, making them realize that they need the change. Because even if you go and say, come to an agency and you say, I need a new logo, you don't always believe it.
Yeah.
Right? Very often you don't want to change your logo because you've lived with it.
And it's worked.
It's worked for you, you've grown, that's why you've been able to come to us. If it hasn't grown, they're not going to come to us. So they don't always want to change.
Yeah.
So finding out why they need to change, how to get them to all agree to that one change.
Yeah.
In what form will it be, making them own the thing that they're going to change to is the harder part. The creative part is always easier for us because that's what we do.
In the world of creativity, there's several constraints, right? As you said, there are sometimes many chefs who are going to spoil the broth or have their opinions. That's one constraint. There are sometimes a constraint of budget. There is sometimes a constraint of thought because they don't align with the thinking of the agency.
Yeah.
There's several problems that can come in this process of creativity. So, do you think the best work is created unconstrained or when you do have constraints?
I think the best work, commercial work, is created under constraints. Okay, because we're not in finance. There's no endless time and, just do what I feel like doing. Came from within or I dreamt it or with this medium. It doesn't exist. Right?
Yeah.
So for us, everything is commercially driven. Okay, there's a cost, there's a given time, there's a goal, there's an outcome that has to be met. So Without those constraints, I don't think we can function. We're just so used to it. We're so used to budgets and deadlines,
and it's more fun probably that way as well.
I think it brings out the best of you. I mean, best in you. I mean, look at Indians. Indians are so jugaru.
Yeah,
Right? Like that's being creative. And why are they jugaru? Because they have constraints.
that's true. I think the best campaigns in India have come because of Jugaad as well.
Yeah.
There are so many campaigns in India.
There's so many. I mean, the campaigns where we're like, okay, you know, we can't find an umbrella. Okay, you know, let's draw one and make one out of board and, you know, hold it. And then it looks better in the art direction. You know, so.
Yeah, exactly. So I do agree with your thought. I think constraints make you sort of come up with a product that you are connected to in a way where you're like fearful as well. That pata nahi, you know. If you're unconstrained, then you can just do anything you want.
I also think the best campaigns you have to be a little scared of.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to put out a campaign and you're just like, okay, it's very safe, you feel like it'll work, it's not going to work so well.
Yeah. You will break the algorithm.
You have to feel a little scared of putting it out. Like, okay, this might not be so good.
Yeah.
Then you know that it has the magic. It can go.
How do you convince the owner when you are pitching something that is out of the box? Because lots of times it's safe. Like you as an
I have a reputation of not doing campaigns which are very safe. So when someone's working with me, they're not expecting a very safe straight-jacketed campaign. So when they do want it, they say, please give us a safe campaign.
Right? Because selling a safe campaign is very easy.
No, not really.
Because you don't, but you won't get the return. I like when I have to meet an owner and I tell them that this is a safe campaign, but then chalega nahi. What you are dreaming those things in your mind, I don't think those returns are going to come.
No, but you wanted it.
You wanted it, so you'll get it.
I made it, but I don't think you should run it.
Social media is even more true because I feel like if you are running a campaign on social media that is already 10, let's say if you're making a reel on social media and then are like 10 examples of that reel already been made.
Yeah.
You won't get that kind of return that you're looking for.
I think sometimes the strangest reels work.
Right? And the ones with the least amount of effort also sometimes doesn't.
Content works. Like you don't really want, I don't know, I think people are now being over educated too. They don't want to learn more. They just want to, I don't know what they want to see, but I think
it's about doing something
doesn't always work,
which contrasts the expected belief. So if you are going on Instagram and you're scrolling content and you're seeing stuff that you already expect to be on Instagram, you're probably going to scroll past. Yeah. But if you're going to find something that you did not expect to be on Instagram, so you're breaking that algorithm in that manner, which is the same thing that used to happen in the past with the billboard. Like today you see billboards which are three-dimensional. Things are popping out of the billboard. Yeah. Right? Which used to not be the case. It used to be just complete 2D flat printed paper.
Correct. I think billboards are going to make a big comeback.
How?
Because I think people are just tired of looking at the screen.
So you think they're going to go out more?
I think that, you see, people are going back to the cinemas.
They are.
Right? So why are they going back to the cinemas? Because they want to experience it. When you are seeing something in a screen that is gigantic, life size, you actually probably believe it a little bit more than seeing it on Instagram. So I really do think it's going to become more important.
Advertising as an industry is quite patriarchal as compared to other industries as well. All industries are patriarchal, and we live in a society which unfortunately sort of is in that manner.
Yeah.
So where does patriarchy show up in an advertising industry?
Okay, if just look at most agency owners, and I'm talking about bigger agency owners, okay, or people in leadership positions, they're all men. If you, what do we do? What is our business? We are working with other businesses. Most businesses that you're going to work with, you have to be a business of a certain size to be able to advertise, right? So, say certain set businesses, most business owners or boards or heads are also men. So, I don't know whether it's patriarchal, but it's full of men, is what I can say.
So, what do you think Calcutta can do to make more women leaders in advertising?
I think there should be more women in all business. I think it's also, I've never really...
give them the pedestal, to...
what I was going to say is, I've never really spoken about this, or I'm not very vocal about this because I've never seen myself that way. I was probably very lucky to be born to parents who are very open-minded and educated. And they never brought me up differently because I was a girl. They would have probably brought me up the same way if I was a boy. When I was growing up and I knew that, okay, at some point I may have to run this agency, it never occurred to me that I'm a woman and I have to run this agency. That never crossed my mind. And I think that just stays. So if I go and work with someone and it's a room full of men, I'm okay with it.
Did you face that form of gender discrimination initially after you took over from your father, especially from the senior leadership?
See, I started working a lot earlier. I started working right out of college and I ran another agency. And I did not use his name or response's name. Initially, I think I also looked very young. It took a little while to calibrate with people as to how to work with them. That was in my early 20s. In a few years, I think I was just able to overcome that. Also, because after a few years of experience, you kind of understand how to deal with people.
Yeah.
But today, it doesn't bother me at all. I think if people were just, helped their daughters more. A lot of family businesses, in fact, unfortunately, give the businesses to the sons.
Most of them.
So if they were a little more equal, I think it could go a long way.
I want to talk about the biggest change that has come in the advertising industry, practically in all the industries, but I think the advertising industry has been hit by it the most, and that's the advent of AI. AI is changing everything, right? There was a period when it launched and all the copywriters thought that they'd lost their livelihoods. I want to ask you today, because today is like in 2026, we've already seen AI for 3 to 4 years. Everyone has a decent understanding of generative AI models like your GPT, Gemini, and the rest of them. We understand that it's not a god, right? It can't solve all your problems initially, which was the thought that AI is going to take away everything. But we also understand that it acts as an aid, right? In your agency, what is the best use case of AI, and do you even use AI?
We use a lot of AI.
Okay.
We adopted AI very quickly. I think it has pros and cons. So what we use AI very well for is visuals. Okay, I think it saves a lot of time in doing some very basic things which you can do very quickly. You are able to achieve so there's certain, say, a picture that's very complicated and requires a complex shoot. You're now able to do at least halfway with AI and then finish it up. So it's pushed us up in a good way, I think. We're able to make a lot more engaging content far more quickly. So it's been good for us. I think when it comes to writing, it's a con. Okay? Because I think our copywriters who use AI begin to stop thinking. And I think it's terrible. So now if you look at a lot of advertising copy, you know is written by AI.
Yeah, you do.
And that actually increases the value of genuine writing. Because when a copywriter can understand copy and write just the 3 words that you feel will connect, that ad will have far more value than anything that AI can write. Right? So I think it has actually helped us because a lot of people realize that their ads are looking like other people's ads. And what do? They have to go to creators. AI will help original creators increase their value and it'll speeden up a lot of mechanical work. But I think going forward, work that is created outside of AI will have far more value.
It's the same thing in the apparel industry is what I feel like. You have handmade crochet garments, which are like just, or anything that's handmade. It's going like, because with this machinery that came and you have this fast fashion, just like
the system
changing trends, and slow fashion is becoming a thing now, and it's becoming more cooler, and people are like sort of going into that far more, and handmade is becoming more and more expensive. The value is there, so anything that has human touch to it suddenly becomes more valuable because everything else becomes without soul.
Our business, we have to hire a writer today who can actually write. That person's talent will cost you far more than it did 2 years ago because of AI. Because it has created so many bad writers.
What do you think in the future Indian advertising will look like outside of your traditional Delhi and Bombay advertising from a Calcutta perspective? And for the people of Calcutta, what do you think, what direction is Indian advertising heading in?
So just think back 10 years and now, okay, let's draw a parity. 10 years ago, people had different time management. They slept differently. They were less, let's say, health conscious, or they were health conscious differently. They watched films, reels didn't exist. You didn't really hear that much about anxiety and depression and mental health problems. So What I'm trying to say is people have completely changed. Right? If you look at people now, they're always time starved and they're very hard on themselves, which is a complete change from people 10 years ago. I feel that advertising always has to address the current state of mind. Going forward, I think this is going to get worse. So you're going to create more advertising for people who are even more time starved and have, so many choices. So you've got to figure out what really works with the mindset of the people in the future.
Is it going to become harder to create that impact because there'll be
It's
too
going
much
to
of
become
noise?
harder and harder to actually cut through because there's so many tools, so many creators, so many mediums, so many states of mind, so many languages people speak. Because you asked me about Calcutta, look at the number of dialects in and around Bengal.
And you think they'll all become popular? They'll all have their own.
Yeah, they'll all have their own niches.
Yeah.
So you'll have to be able to cut through each micro market. So it's going to become more complicated and more granular.
And my last question to you, if someone listens to this podcast episode and takes one thing from your journey, what should it be?
I think I work very hard and I enjoy working hard. I wish more people actually enjoyed working. I didn't think of work as work.
You don't think of work as work?
No, I don't think of work as work. I think of work as fun.
So we do this small rapid fire round at the end of the episode. So let's begin. Name a typography that you love right now.
I've always loved Helvetica. Most boring font, but I love it.
All right. One ad that you wish you had made because it was brilliant.
All of Coke's ads.
One thing that you learned from your dad that you'll never unlearn.
Have fun.
One trend on social that you think will die very soon.
I mean, everything on social media dies in a minute.
Response to you means in one sentence.
It means home.
That's lovely. Thank you so much, Rashi, for being on our show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure.